Surviving Hiroshima. Eyewitness accounts of the atomic bomb. On the morning of August 6, 1945, the city of Hiroshima awoke to what appeared to be yet another warm and serene summer day. The residents went about their morning routines, unaware that this day would become etched in history as one of profound tragedy. As the clock neared 8:15 a.m., an ominous silence fell over the city, a haunting precursor to the imminent catastrophe. Suddenly, a blinding flash tore through the sky, brighter than 1,000 suns, casting a chilling pall over the cityscape. Within moments, this radiant burst was followed by a monstrous shockwave, an unstoppable force of destruction that ravaged the city, obliterating nearly everything within a 2-mile radius. Buildings crumbled into dust, streets were stripped of their vitality, and countless lives were extinguished or irreversibly altered in the blink of an eye. This moment of devastation marked a turning point not just for Hiroshima, but for the entire world, as the true potential for human-made annihilation was unleashed, leaving a permanent scar on the collective memory of humanity. Welcome to Human Stories Unveiled, a channel dedicated to exploring profound and moving stories from around the world. Here, we dive deep into the experiences that shape us, triumphs, tragedies, and the resilience of the human spirit. If you're passionate about learning what drives us, shapes our history, and defines our future, make sure to subscribe and join us on this journey through the incredible narratives that connect us all. That early April morning would permanently alter the course of human history in the skies above Hiroshima, Japan. An American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, had just released its deadly payload, codenamed Little Boy, the first atomic bomb ever used in warfare. The ensuing devastation was catastrophic, unprecedented, and transformational, not just for the city and its inhabitants, but for the entire world. This video delves into the heart-wrenching personal stories of the survivors, known as hibakusha, whose lives encapsulate the human capacity for endurance and resilience amid unimaginable destruction. The immediate aftermath. The detonation at Hiroshima unleashed a firestorm with temperatures soaring upwards of 4,000 degrees Celsius, rendering the cityscape into a wasteland of ash and charred remains. The initial incandescence that engulfed buildings and people faded quickly to reveal a city reduced to ruins. As the survivors grappled with their shock and injuries, they soon faced another insidious threat: radioactive black rain. This noxious downpour began shortly after the explosion, compounding the chaos by coating everything with its poisonous touch, tainting survivors, the rubble, and the very air they breathed with deadly radiation. Akiko's story, a narrow escape. Akiko Takakura found herself among the closest surviving witnesses to the heart of destruction, being less than 300 meters from ground zero at the time of the explosion. Housed within the supposedly safe confines of a reinforced concrete bank building, she experienced the harrowing force of the blast, yet miraculously survived its initial deadly embrace. As she recounted her ordeal, the imagery she painted was stark and vivid. The air quickly filled with a thick, yellow smoke, choking and disorienting. All around me, the building groaned and trembled, succumbing piece by piece to the overwhelming force. When I finally made my way outside, stepping through the rubble, I entered a world unrecognizable. A silent expanse where my city once thrived, all flattened to the earth, a landscape of desolation. Kazuo Okubo, a dedicated physician, was amidst attending to his patients in a clinic about 1 kilometer from the epicenter when the blast violently shook the very foundation of the building. The impact hurled him against the wall, shattering windows and blowing out doors around him. Amidst the chaos, covered in debris and struggling with his own injuries, Dr. Okubo's commitment did not waver. He rose from the wreckage, driven by a profound duty to aid those in dire need. He recounted, "There was no time to think, only to act." The clinic became a refuge in the midst of hell, where we were immediately inundated with burn victims, faces and bodies so grievously altered they were beyond recognition, each one a stark testament to the merciless power of the atomic bomb. Tomiko Morimoto, a schoolgirl at the time, vividly remembered the sky darkening to an ominous color, heralding a disaster of unimaginable scale. In the immediate aftermath, as the reality of the devastation sunk in, Tomiko found herself thrust into a relentless search for her family. She walked for hours through a city unrecognizable, her familiar surroundings transformed into a monochromatic wasteland stripped of life and color. The world I knew vanished in an instant, replaced by an eerie, silent grayness. I called out for my mother, my siblings, but my voice seemed to disappear into the void, Tomiko recounted. The heart-wrenching conclusion to her search came with the realization that she was the sole survivor among her family, marking a profound and painful chapter of her young life. In the somber weeks and prolonged months that followed the atomic blast, the survivors of Hiroshima navigated through a landscape marred by not only physical injuries, but deep psychological and social scars. The aftermath was not a sudden onslaught, but a creeping dread. Radiation sickness began to claim lives in a silent, insidious manner, with symptoms that emerged slowly, confounding medical professionals who grappled with their inability to provide answers or solace. The survivors endured not only the pain of their burns and injuries, but also the haunting memories of that day, which would replay over and over in their minds, a relentless reminder of the horror they had witnessed. Long-term consequences. The catastrophic radiation exposure sowed a legacy of suffering that transcended the immediate devastation of the bombing. Over time, there was a marked increase in devastating illnesses such as leukemia, thyroid cancer, and a slew of other severe health complications that affected not just those who survived the initial blast, but also their future generations. The physical marks of keloid scars were not the only remnants of the bomb. Many survivors were shunned and isolated, bearing the burden of societal misunderstanding and prejudice, treated as pariahs in their own communities because of the invisible yet indelible stamp of radiation. The path to recovery. Yet, from the ashes of this profound darkness, there sprouted shoots of hope and tales of extraordinary resilience. Survivors like Sunao Tsuboi transformed their harrowing experiences into powerful advocacy for nuclear disarmament and peace. With every speech and every public appearance, Tsuboi and others like him shared their stories not with a spirit of vengeance, but with a plea for understanding and action. "We must teach the world about what happened here," Tsuboi declared, "not for revenge, but to ensure this never happens again." Their voices rose not in anger, but in a clarion call for a future where no other city or its people would ever have to endure such suffering. Reflections on peace. In Hiroshima, the Peace Memorial Park, with the Genbaku Dome standing resiliently at its heart, stands as a somber yet hopeful symbol of peace and remembrance. This structure, having withstood the very epicenter of destruction, now anchors a space of contemplation and commemoration. Each year, thousands of people from around the globe converge here, not only to remember the immense loss of life, but also to gather in solidarity for a future untainted by the specter of nuclear weapons. The park is a testament to the indomitable human spirit and a beacon of collective aspiration for a world where peace prevails, and nuclear arms are but a distant memory. Through these reflections and gatherings, the park not only honors those who were lost but also ignites a collective commitment among us all to imagine the worst possible outcomes of our actions, and instead strive relentlessly towards the best, most harmonious path forward. Conclusion. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima serves as a profound reminder of both the devastating reach of human creativity when misapplied and the remarkable resilience inherent in the human spirit. The narratives of the survivors transcend mere survival. They are profound lessons in the crucial importance of reconciliation and the unyielding pursuit of peace. These stories not only call us to remember the past, but also to actively shape a future where such tragedies are never repeated. We invite you to join us on Stories Unveiled, a channel dedicated to exploring the depths of human spirit, resilience, and even the lighter side of human experiences with humor. Subscribe to delve into tales that highlight the strength, courage, and sometimes the comedic undertones of our existence. Like, share, and comment to engage with a community that values the most captivating and inspiring human stories. Your interaction helps us bring more of such content that illuminates, educates, and entertains. Let's celebrate the human spirit together. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and most importantly, comment on what intrigues you the most about the world around us.